So what's your favorite? How did you get? What do you remember? Was it us? Where did all the we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Bowie, Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.
Welcome back to the podcast. It's Quick Question with Soren and Daniel. I am one of your hosts, Daniel O'Brien, joined as always by Soren Bowie. Soren, say hello. Soren, you can see my hands and where they are.
Yeah. You're doing some things with them. You're making choices.
I'm going to
try. All
of
these are choices.
All of these are choices. There's...
Not right ones.
No. And I meant to get ahead of this. Listeners, longtime listeners and viewers of the podcast know that I have a real hard time not playing with whatever's in front of me while I'm doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And so I meant to clear this space before we recorded, but I forgot to. And there's scissors.
Lots
I don't
of things
feel
to play
great.
with.
Scissors are going to be really fun to play with, and they make noise. But Soren, because here's the thing. I'm holding up a little plastic doodad.
Oh, I love that. That's from a mic stand.
It's from a mic stand. I'm also holding a quarter.
Okay.
And the quarter almost perfectly fits inside the hole of the mic stand holder. And I hate to take our listeners and send them to another podcast away from ours. But I was a guest on the most recent episode of Even More News with Cody Johnson and Katie Stoll. And I was off camera fiddling with the quarter and this little black doodad.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch the podcast at 46 minutes, the quarter, which had been successfully jammed into the doodad and lay dormant for a while, it springs into frame. The cord just shoots up out of nowhere because
the pressure.
The pressure was too much. And we're in the middle of recording a podcast talking about the news, and then a coin flips into the sky, and you can the podcast stops down to address it, but it was a wake up call that like I can't
play with things.
I can't play with all these things. It doesn't make for good podcasting.
It's stuff that ordinarily in my life I would show no interest in. But the minute we're doing a podcast, I'm like, oh, this pen has two caps on it. What if I closed my eyes and mixed them up and then guessed which side was the writing side?
Yeah. I do genuinely. I'm starting to worry that we are contributing to an overall worsening of entertainment content that goes out into the world, because like since when COVID happened, a lot of the news just started doing way more Zoom interviews than they ever did before, which was understandable in COVID, and no one was going out and doing things and going onto the scene, and like, you know, you're not going to bring a news crew to an expert's house and talk to them in their house or like fly them out to the studio. But now the president decided COVID's over, and we're still doing a lot of Zoom things. And I watch the news sometimes, and it's just like some guy on a webcam with a crummy background, and I'm like, the news looks worse than it used to look. And a tangential thought is I'm ticking around on YouTube, and there's so much nonsense on you. Like, there's so many video podcasts where someone is like on headphones or on earbuds, and there's no thought to the background, and they're like clearly doing the podcast while they're on their phone or doing things on the computer. And I think this is bad too. And I'm part of it, Soren. We are part of the thing. We're putting videos out in the world. And in the middle of the video, we're playing with stuff.
Well, right now we're describing things in our room.
Yeah.
And the most boring things we can think of in our room.
That's right.
I can see why you would be of the position that maybe we are not contributing anything to society, and maybe hurting it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Well, let me say, like, first of all, like, things that I agree with, and then I'll tell you something that I think would actually make you feel a little bit better. One is that what I would consider like good content generally takes preparation, and we don't do that. And so is what we're doing even useful Did it there? Because there can be things that don't have any preparation to them and that are really interesting and fun. But man, to do that every single week. That's a tall order.
I'm starting
the other thing I was.
There's
ahead.
also a chance that I'm just getting older and everything I'm saying is just things are different because like if audiences don't mind, one of the things that I think about a lot is the specific visual vocabulary of a lot of TikTok explainer videos where it's someone who has a lapel mic, but they're very
Yeah, they're
pointedly
holding
holding it in their hand instead of wearing it. They're speaking
Yes.
into it. The audio quality is not great. There's obviously a green screen behind the person who's filming it, but like the keying out is not perfect. It's a person who's talking into a lapel mic and they're floating in space and they're
Yep.
pointing up to suggest the image that's behind them, and they're also like their floating head is like moving around in the frame depending on
Yeah.
what image that is superimposed on the background behind you they want the viewer to see.
But it
It's-
doesn't. I mean, with ghost trails of their head as they move their head,
Yeah.
like ghost trails of their room following them before, like it auto fills in with the whatever they've got Chiron before behind them.
I find it to be one of the most disorienting presentations of information in the history of mankind. It's all over TikTok, and no one seems to mind it.
Everybody's fine.
Like our friend and TikTok darling Jason Pargin, when he first started creating things on TikTok, wasn't doing videos like that. But it's clear that that's what the audience wants. They respond to that better than they do like a disembodied voice or text on screen. It's the preferred method of content distribution in the eyes and minds of the youth, and I find it unpalatable, and that's a me thing.
Well, I think what it is, it's like a little bit, just an extra step of holding the reader or the audience's hand, where they're not just going to show you something and then you decide how you feel about it. You get to watch, and a lot of times you're literally just watching somebody watching the same thing you're watching, but you get to watch their reaction along with it. Like people will put up their own content and they don't say a single word in it. They're like, hey, here's a video of some kids getting kicked out of a pool in Miami or whatever. And
Yeah.
like, they're just watching along and they're like making startled faces, shaking their heads. Occasionally they'll do like a little bookend at the end where they're like, that was crazy. If you've seen things like this, give me a like, or like whatever it is. But a lot of times they're not saying shit. It's just somebody else
Yeah.
watching it. And I think it's so you can be like, as a human, be like, oh, I'm supposed to raise my eyebrows for that part. Oh, I'm supposed to. I don't like this. I'm shaking my head just like this person. So yeah, I agree with you that that's bad. Now, I'm gonna say that as far as like clearly an audio medium, auditory medium,
Mhm.
I used to do a Zoo Hour radio show. I would call into it every single week when I worked at
That's right.
Cracked. And that was an institution. That was like, it was in Kansas City. It's called the Church of Laszlo. I used to call into the show all the time. It started out with like they just asked for somebody because they wanted to go over an article that we had written, and then after that, like I just kept calling once a week, and I would hang out and like talk to them. We were like getting each other gifts and things.
Yeah.
I was having a lot of fun. It is the same type of. It's exactly what you're picturing. If you don't live in Kansas City, and you're like, I don't know what that is. No, you do, because you've lived anywhere. You've had Kevin and Bean. You've had any like
Yeah.
Zoo Hour radio show. You know what this show is. Those shows are so fly by the seat of your pants, and those have been around way longer than podcasting. Where I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing is maybe like a step up, like a step more professional than those. There was a time when I called into that show and they were eating lunch as I was talking to them. And I was like, finally, I was like, is this even a real radio show? Because it's just like long gaps of them munching into a microphone, which is one of the most unpleasant sounds in the world. And I was like, is this even a real show? And they were laughing because they were like, we don't know. Occasionally it doesn't feel like it. Occasionally we just have like one of us will go out for a smoke break or whatever, and the other person's just sort of covering, but they're not panicked. They're just like, it's like being in a friend's house where the mutual friend between two people has left the room, and now you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, so you live close? It's like that kind of shit. So I say that we're doing a far better job than that. Does that make you feel better?
I got lots of apps on my phone. Everybody knows this about me. There's apps for gambling, apps for food. That's right, apps for craps and apps for apps. But some of these apps, these frankly too many apps, some of these food apps I won't name, have been charging me money in the background and I had no idea. Monthly subscriptions that I've been paying for months that I forgot about. Has this ever happened to you? It hasn't if you've used Rocket Money, which finds these apps and alerts you to their subscription fees. Ever feel like your money just disappears each month? It's easier than ever to overspend, from subscriptions piling up to impulse buys after seeing an ad on your phone to ordering takeout a few times a month. Rocket Money helps you rein it in by showing you where your money is going and helping you make better decisions so you can put more money in your pocket. It's your money. Keep it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money shows you all your expenses in one place, including subscriptions you forgot about. If you see a subscription you no longer want, Rocket Money will help you cancel it. If you've got a goal you'd like to save for, Rocket Money can analyze your accounts to find the best time each month to put extra money aside. That is so smart. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. The app automatically scans your bills to find opportunities to save and then goes to work to get you better deals. They'll even talk to customer service so you don't have to. Rocket Money has saved users over $2.5 billion, including over $880 million in canceled subscriptions alone. Their 10 million members save up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/QQ today. That's rocketmoney.com/QQ. rocketmoney.com/QQ.
I don't want to say it's pessimistic because I don't consider myself a pessimist. I think I have a nasty habit of seeing something I don't like, whether I'm doing it or observing it, and then immediately mentally turning it into a trend and turning it into a sign of where the culture, where the world is going.
Yeah.
And that's solipsistic. That's not necessarily rooted in anything. Like, I'll see a video and I'll say, this is what everyone is seeing because I'm seeing it right now and I think it's bad and no one else does. So that means everyone thinks a bad thing is a good thing and I gotta tell the newspaper about it. I gotta get on my microphone and warn everybody about this problem that I just invented based on
it's
a
hard
very
not
limited
to-
data set.
It's hard not to treat everything like a heat check, like a cultural heat check. Like,
Yeah.
this is, well, is this indicative? Is this what we're all doing right now? And then being worried about it. You see it come up twice. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. We're not providing something that is going to win some awards, but we're doing
No.
something that a number of people seem to enjoy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how I can say that I think our podcast is good, which I do, and in the same breath say that I think it's bad for culture. That Subway Takes has the clout and reach that it has. Are you familiar with Subway Takes, Soren?
No, what is this?
It's a series of videos that because this is the future, I don't know where anything is for anymore. I don't know where it originates. Like, I don't know what platform it belongs to, but it spreads everywhere. It becomes, I see it on Instagram. Some people see it on TikTok. There's a host with sunglasses, and at all times he looks like he couldn't be fucked. He just couldn't be bothered. He's not interested in anything. He's splayed out in a subway car. He has got he's either got a lapel mic that is like stuck to a New York subway Metro card, or he's got a microphone built into the Metro card, or the card is just a prop. We don't know. But he'll be sitting next to like a real famous person, like Zoran Mamdani or Bruce Springsteen, and he'll be like, "What's your take?" And he hands the subway card to the person, and the person will have a take that is like, "I think ketchup is barbecue sauce," and he'll be like, 100% disagree, and then they like argue over whether or not ketchup is barbecue sauce, and people love it, and that's the whole show. It's takes.
just
What's your
thinking
take?
about-
And then the person
Yeah.
has a take, and we don't get any kind of real parameters on what constitutes a take.
I guess I'm deciding if I'm disappointed that this wasn't taking place in a Subway restaurant, which is what I originally thought you were describing. That Subway had
So sorry.
done something cool. You're in front of one of those big old-timey maps that they've chosen to litter their walls with, or used to. I guess they don't anymore.
Yeah.
They've really moved on from that. That's from like the early 90s. But like I would love to do a Subway version of that, a Subway sandwich version of that.
Subway sandwich takes. I think
Subway sandwich takes.
that's 100%. I mean, someone get 2012 on the phone. Let's get cracked in the room. Let's pitch it to Subway, man. Let's pitch an ad campaign. Subway sandwich
and honestly,
takes.
it could be entirely about sandwiches, and I would be like, it could be loose meat about sandwiches.
Sure.
And I think you could make something incredible. I think you could make something really good that really drove people to Subway.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to address something.
Okay.
That we haven't talked about yet. This again, completely alienating to the people who are not listening to, or that are only listening to this podcast. I'm in a different space again. For a while,
but you're right.
I was.
This is also none of this is very accessible to the people who aren't listening to the show. That's we never think about the people who don't listen.
What I would like is a show that you can just mute and just watch two boys be friends.
Or not even watch it, but still somehow like get it. Not
Acknowledge
watch or
that it's
listen,
out
but
there.
still like be able to say that you did.
I think that's a huge part of our fan base, by the way. I think there are a lot of people from the crack days who are like, I just want to know that they're okay. I don't care to follow whatever they're doing now. They both look old and it makes me sad, but I want to know that they're fine.
Soren is practically quoting real comments that we've seen. People who are so unhappy that we've aged.
That we've gotten older. Okay, so I'm in a new space. I was previously doing this podcast, and it was essentially a hallway. It was a hallway outside my children's room. And now I've moved back into my garage. I no longer look like I'm in the pantry of The Shining.
Yes.
It's not much better yet because we haven't put in any new stuff, but the garage is ostensibly finished. And it's so nice in here. It's so light, so wonderful.
It is very light and wonderful, and I'm very excited for you to have your garage. But my wife and I have been talking about the subject of garages a lot. We have a detached garage in our backyard that you might as well call a shed for the purpose that it serves. It also feels very shed-like because there's no road from our driveway to the thing. It's just a garage because it's like technically a garage. It's very
You
large.
have to have a garage. Yeah.
Concrete floor, blah, blah, blah. It's a garage. But we would never park our car in it because, again, there's no road to it. It's not paved to it. And it doesn't have a garage door that you can open with a button. It doesn't have we would need to put in a garage door, essentially. And also, the glory of having a garage, in my mind, is you can go to and from stores or work and never have to interact with the elements whatsoever. We don't have that because because the garage is not connected to the house. But a thing that we've found that we can't understand.
Okay.
So many of our friends have attached garages and they don't use them as garages.
Yeah.
Almost none of our friends actually use their garages to house the cars. And we asked a friend about this. We were like, why don't you use your garage for your car? And they said, no, the garage is for stuff.
Yeah.
And you agree with this.
Uh-huh. But I'll get into it with you.
The thought never crossed your mind to keep your car in your, let's start very simple.
Yeah.
Could you theoretically store your car in your garage?
Yes, there's a road that leads to the garage. You can bring a car all the way in here and that would be fine.
Wow.
I've never once done it. Okay, so you live, I would say like on the fringes of a very, very big city. You're close enough to New York that it is.
Okay. See, a lot of, all right. So New York is the city that you're talking about.
I'm
and
talking
on
about
the
New York.
Okay.
There are
Okay.
people who live near you who could hypothetically work in New York.
Yes, many do. Okay, I understand now. My
And
wife
if-
included.
And so when
I
you're,
suppose
when you
technically, me too.
and so no one could. Oh, well, my wife. Also me. There are when you're in a city, like obviously space is at a premium. And the space that you have is at a premium. So like the type of house you can afford there is different than the type of house you can afford in Akron. And so you don't have a ton of space for all the things that you need or that you want. So you have this whole other room that could potentially store all of that stuff. And all it means is that you're leaving your car outside. In Los Angeles, it makes a ton of sense because there's no weather. There's no consequence to leaving your car outside. You're not going to get up in the morning and have to like wipe frost off your windshield in other locations. But I think in general, when you live in a city or on the fringes of a city, you're already strapped for what you can actually afford in terms of a house. And all of a sudden you get an extra room, and it's a room that you don't have to clean. And it's a room where you can just store things. I think everyone's going to take that option.
Man, it's so tough to try to find common ground with you because your upbringing was so unique. Did you have a garage growing up?
Yes.
In your cabin? Okay.
Yes.
Did both of your parents have cars that went into the garage?
Yeah, it was a long, narrow thing that ran underneath the house. Yeah. And we would park the cars in there every single day.
Cool.
Yeah.
We had a 1-car garage growing up, and my mom's car would go in there, and then my dad's car would live on the driveway.
Okay.
And by the time I was leaving New Jersey, there were moments when 5 cars belonged to that house, and we were all scattered around the street and the driveway and the garage. But it seemed to me, once I moved to Los Angeles, obviously I was in apartments forever and in shared garages. It always seemed like you will have made it when you get a house with a garage and you could put your car in the garage. And I thought everyone was in agreement that this was like, that's fucking ice maker in the fridge level of making it, buddy.
Yeah.
You got a car, you got a garage that fits 2 cars. You got to put 2 cars in there. And I continue to be shocked by my friends and people in my life who just don't do it. They leave their cars vulnerable to the elements.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what's actually the consequence of that? What's happening to your car out there that
Salt.
they are? So insurance takes that into account. Like if you have a garage, insurance car insurance is super psyched to know that you have an enclosed storage area. Even if you're not using it, if you just have one associated with your house, your insurance drops. Did you not know that?
No.
Okay. They love to wait. When you moved, did you talk to your car insurance company about where you were currently moving to?
Yeah, I told them all.
Okay,
I
good.
answered all the questions. We're trying to leave that auto insurance because, and I don't know if this is a
okay.
crock of shit or not, but Geico, which is the insurance company, I don't mind naming them because I'm not worried about alienating a sponsor that would never stoop so low as to we only get advertisements from exclusively scams, so I'm not worried about Geico. But our rates went up recently, and I called Geico and I was like, "Hey, our rates went up, and I don't want them to go up. What do we do about that? Why did they go up?" And they said it was because there had been accidents reported in my neighborhood. And first of all, I don't think that's true. And second of all, it's got nothing to do with us. It's not. It's
Wow.
They happened, but not to us or as a result of us. And it's
That
not
would be
like
huge if that's true.
I know. If
Because
that's like
now
a loophole that insurance companies can exploit, that seems like quite a coup for insurance companies.
Yeah, because it would mean that people are already hesitant to report to insurance because they don't want their own rates to go up. But if you would be responsible for the rates in your entire neighborhood going up, That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be allowed to do that. Okay.
No.
Well, anyway, yeah. the
Everybody
garages-
write letters to Geico.
Here's a big question for you, Dan.
Okay.
In your current garage, wait, you're not parking a car in it? Are you parking a car in it?
I cannot park a car in my garage.
That's
No.
right. That's right. It doesn't even have a road to it.
Yeah.
Is there water leading to it?
No. I think the previous owners set up water and electricity into the garage because they had converted it into a like carpentry workstation. But then at some point they shut off electricity and water. So there's some like basic infrastructural stuff that is still there if we
Oh.
wanted to get it turned on again.
Oh.
But it's like a whole to do.
Okay. So right now you have a garage that my guess would be is unpermitted because it's no longer functioning as a garage and can't possibly function as a garage. In order to do that, you have to get a permit because you're turning it into basically a livable space instead of a garage. And if you
No, I'm not.
it means that the person before you would have had to have done that, or they just
Okay.
did it unpermitted. And people do this kind of shit unpermitted all the time. But a lot of times, what they will do is that they have turned it into a livable space, then they've already set the water lines to it, and that's the hardest part. I mean, the worst part about changing anything from well, not the worst part, but like changing a garage to a ADU or a livable space is like getting your water lines to it, water and sewer to it, because generally that involves tearing up concrete around the outside. These garages usually have like some concrete around them, and so you've got to like chisel from the house to that garage, and then if they've done all of that work, that's beautiful. That means that you could at some point, and I think you will want this at some point, you can have like basically an ensuite. You have like this space where if you've got water to it, you can create a bedroom, you vault the ceilings of it, you put in a living roomish space, you put in a bathroom, and then you have a mother-in-law suite. Like you have a place where when you have a child, somebody can come stay with you for a long period of time and they're not in your shit. Like
Yeah.
they have their own space. But I don't know. It's a little late for that for you, I think. I don't know that at least with this child, I don't think you're going to be able to get all that done before then.
Yeah, I mean, this kid's coming in like 3.5 months or something like that.
We were trying to decide with our garage what we were going to do. We were like, should we try and turn it into like a more livable, a space that somebody could actually sleep in and stay in, like a kitchenette and stuff. And in talking to them, they're like, okay, well, first of all, you gotta get a permit from the city because you're turning this into a livable space. Then you also, it sits up against an alley, our garage, and they're like, you have to have a certain distance from the alley. So you basically have to wipe out this wall and push it in. And I was like, these things are stupid. The fact that this structure already exists means that it should be grandfathered into everything beyond this. Like,
Right.
somebody allowed this at some point. Somebody allowed this to exist.
Anything on my property, I should be able to do whatever I want with.
Yeah.
No questions asked, no permits needed. We need permits to cut down fucking trees.
In the front, right? Oh, in the back you need
In the back.
permits?
Yeah.
What?
And it didn't used to be that way. And when we were having the house inspected, the inspector was like, you're going to want to get rid of that tree probably because that's going to give you problems down the line. And like, do it now because starting in February, you need permits to get the trees cut down.
Interesting.
So just like cut down all the trees you want. And it was really like,
Yeah.
really made me, really activated something in me very quickly. It was like, well, I'd hate to want to do it later and need a permit. So I guess I should just,
Cut
just
these
go
down now.
crazy now.
Yeah. Get the joy of it now. So on our streets, if you're going to plant a tree in, the median between the sidewalk and the road in front of your house, that's
Yes.
generally like a grassy patch. If you want to plant a tree there, that's like a weird territorial issue where it's like you as the homeowner are responsible for what you put there. You xeriscape it or whatever, but also the city has to approve it because it's also kind of their property too. So we were like trying to get a tree out there. All the other houses along our street have trees out in front, and for whatever reason, at some point, this one in front of our house got sick and died. So we were like, well, yeah, it would be fun to put a tree there, and found out through the city that they're zoned for what type of tree is allowed in any single block, and it varies by block to block. So they'll be like, oh, for this street, you are allowed this one very specific type of a rubber tree. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if that's true of you, but it is like I was pissed. I was like, I don't want that one. Like I want this ginkgo biloba that I picked out. It looks really beautiful in the fall. I want that one. And
Yeah, I mean, we haven't thought about trees, but I want the freedom. There was like to like Animal Crossing style my house, and it was like my house has a nautical theme, or we're like doing an island thing. So I need palm trees, and that's it. And I'm doing sandscaping. It's just sand and palm trees, please.
Yeah,
but
and they're gonna allow
the
that.
city won't allow it. No,
no, they don't want that. Yeah, so you have to, and then or you just defy them. You have to be like, well, I'm not doing it your way, and you're so backed up. Your arborist is so backed up with whatever else he's got going on, or she has got going on.
2025.
And so we just went with our own tree. And now I just live in fear all the time where I'm like, at some point, they could just come and be like, this isn't the right tree for this particular block. You're going to have to pull it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Do they fine you or do they pull it? They say you have to get rid of this tree. They can't just like, because I know Zuckerberg owns so much fucking land in Maui that and he wants to he's grown like a bunch of very tall either trees or like put up walls, and he has more money than God. So even though he's not technically allowed to have the things that he has blocking views, he just pays whatever that fine is every month, and will do so until the sun explodes as a result of his actions. So I didn't know if that was something that you could are they going to say you have to rip this out, or you have to give us $50 extra a month on top of your property taxes?
No, because I don't think they can keep track of all of that. I honestly think that they're so over their skis on like trying to deal with all this shit that they can't keep track of all of that. They want you to pull it. The same reason where if you made an ADU and you had plumbing to it, but you didn't get it permitted, if somebody snitches on you and they come and do an assessment and they're like, oh, you've turned this into a livable space and it shouldn't be, they will sit there and watch as a mason comes and pours concrete down the sink and the toilet to ensure that the sewer lines and the water lines are completely blocked, so you can't continue to use those.
Fuck.
Anyway, all this is like the long way of saying that like we have a garage door on this space. We can still use it as a garage. The flooring would even withstand that. But part of it, a big decision for us was, do we put something big and cool on the front of it and like have glass doors? And we were like, no, it has to be garage doors, or we have to get like a completely new permit for this whole space. So,
but you didn't even want to store a car there. There's so much.
You cannot shake that I don't put a car in a garage,
because it's
not
a
single person here does.
It's not just you. No, I'm saying it's not just you. And I'm trying to get answers, and I'm making you spokesman for everybody, despite the fact that I've talked to people and they've said, no, we just don't want to. I don't accept that answer. I need a better answer.
Now that you've moved into a house that is yours, surely you have those dreams where you're like, oh, there's this other entire room in my house, and I haven't even thought about what to do with it yet. And those are the best dreams I have. The possibility that your house is bigger than you thought it was is like the best thing that could happen. And so
but here's the thing. It's not another room in the house and I don't know what to do with it. It's the car's home. It's the space that's for the garage, for the car.
For the garage. They should call them
the carriage house.
Okay. Right now you're using it as public storage, essentially, that you don't pay for, right? It's like you have a storage unit.
Yeah.
That's nice. You've got a storage unit that is shielded from the elements, which in itself is like a huge win because there's so much junk that you accumulate that is, you're going to have strollers. You're going to have buggies, those like little things, those little cars that you roll the kids around in. You're going to have, at a certain point, you're going to have trikes. Like there's so big clunky items that you're not going to want in your house and that they need another place to live.
Had these things in my house growing up, and we also had our car in a garage. Determined families can make it work. I don't understand.
But you don't have to. I'm telling you, you don't have to. You have the luxury of not being a determined family now. You don't need to keep a car in there. And by the way, it's not going to take much for you to turn that into a space where you're like, well, this could just be my office.
Yeah.
This is where I could work. And it's completely away from everybody else. You can do your podcast. You can be as loud as you want. You can talk about drugs. You can you can do anything.
Not even do drugs, but I can go in a
talk
private
about 'em.
room, talk about drugs, which I am not allowed in the house. I'm not allowed to talk about them.
So, I mean, I don't see why that's not appealing to you to have a room to talk about drugs in.
This
As
same,
loud as you want.
this same inspector that told us to get in while the getting's good as far as cutting down trees goes, he also, when he was going around the house with us, was telling us what rooms he could convert into good drug rooms, and saying that it
good.
was something that he had
Yeah.
done a lot of before. And like the garage was a big one for him. It was like, this could be like a drug den. And we're like, oh, ha, 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 ha. It's like, no, I'm serious. I've done it for people. And we're just like, we were just laughing politely, sir. We don't, it's, we're not asking you to do that, first of all. Second of all, it's like, it's 2025. The kind of drugs that suburbanites do don't require like dens and ventilation. It's all like computer and phone drugs now, sir. We
My
don't
next
need-
question for that guy would be, point to the houses. Show me the ones you did. How far are they away from my house? Drug dens.
Yeah.
What the, Jesus Christ. What kind
Like
of
very
drugs
like
would
a
you be
like a very
doing?
70s idea, I think. It was like he's like, you could put a fan
Oh.
in here to get the weed smoke away, so like your parents won't find out. And we're like, sir,
Sir.
we are the parents. We
Yeah.
are the
Also, everybody eats their drugs now, sir.
Yeah.
No, not a single person is smoking.
watch a movie.
Yeah, I think that this space, we have a glass garage door in it. I'll just quickly, for anyone who wants to
Yeah.
see, there's a glass garage door over there. We considered getting a garage door that was tinted, so you couldn't really see from the outside.
People
Doesn't
can
really
see
matter.
in. It's not like a like
Hypothetically, they could, but only from our house, because that area in front of the garage door, there's a gate too, so you can't
Mhm.
actually see the garage door from the street. So you'd have to really do some snooping in order to see in there. But one of our considerations when we were like thinking about getting it tinted or not, we were like, we have a 10-year-old. Within like a heartbeat, he's going to be 14. And I don't want this to be the makeout spot. I don't want, like, there's going to be a TV and a living room and
Why
stuff like
not?
that in here.
kids
I
got to
don't-
make out somewhere.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But they should go to parks like I had to. They should
No.
be cold and miserable as
They
they,
should
do
go to
Sit-
Lisa's basement.
it. Crammed into a twirly slide together that we're like at any moment when you could just slip all the way down. I just don't know. I guess I wanted to be able to see. I wanted to be able to be like,
Sure.
hey.
I do. It does make sense to me. Not that you're not trying to keep your kids from making out. I understand that, like, you don't want to be the house where, like, it opens you up for the other parents to be
Yeah.
like, why do you have my kids always want to come to your house that has this like hidden fortress that no one can see into.
Right.
We don't care for that. I understand
Yeah.
that thought process.
I want to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I want to know what they're doing out here. Although with him, it's not going to ever matter. He is the sweetest rule follower there has
Yeah.
ever been. But
We
for
had
my daughter, I don't know.
Damn.
Sheesh. She is defiant to the last. Like, if you give her a rule, she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll see about that."
Let's see if the rule is. Let's see if it functions. Let's see what happens.
Let's bend it, break it. Let's see.
We were similar rule followers, and we had a friend of ours had a shed in his backyard, and his parents parked their cars in the garage. We liked that he had a
Bullshit.
big shed that was big enough for all of like us buddies to hang out in. And we would do in middle school, maybe even up to like freshman year of high school, that we would all go in there and chill. And his dad, whose name is Ted, very suddenly opened it up to check on us one day,
Oh.
ready for it to be like bad news. And it wasn't. And I think he skipped right over relief into like kind of disappointment, because it was like, I'm sure he came home from work and his wife was like, all the kids are in the shed. He's like, all those 14-year-old boys are in this. What are they doing in the shed? They smoke.
Yeah.
Is it going to be smoking? Am I going to find a girl in there? Am I not going to find a girl in there? And then he opens it and it's just a bunch of guys like earnestly talking about how like in high school we will have girlfriends and things will be different for us. And he's like, they're not even a cigarette. Fuck.
It's just kind of like sad a little.
Gotta get my
Oh.
kids some better friends. This
Jesus
time's
Christ.
running out.
This is rough. Oh, you think you're gonna have a girl in high school? It's not happening.
You're
I'll
gonna
tell
find
you
him in the
right
shed? Is that what's gonna happen?
now. With this crew, you're not getting girls. It's not gonna happen. To give you a peek at how agrarian my childhood was, my first cigarette was in a boxcar. we found cigarettes in
What year are you from?
we found cigarettes in a parking lot because cars existed, and we were like, well, where are we gonna smoke it? And we're like, I got the perfect place, where we would go find our salamanders over by the river. There were train tracks where the colt cars would run, and there had since like the the mine had been shut down. There were still cars left there, and they're like these giant box cars you'd see in the Hobo movie.
Sure.
And so we climbed in there and smoked our first cigarettes in a boxcar.
Maybe we'll do it for the Patreon, a ranking of our favorite hobo movies.
Oh yeah, we should. Am I? By the way, I apologize for using that word. I don't know yet if that's one that's
Hobo?
that's we shouldn't be using.
I think
it
it's fine.
does seem derogatory, right?
Sure, but I mean, I we don't need to get into language on this podcast. I think I've drawn a line in the sand over whether or not I'm gonna self-correct homeless to unhoused,
Okay.
and I have years ago have talked myself into I'm gonna keep saying homeless, and I had like receipts and reasons for why I was correct in not self-adjusting to unhoused, and I was correct in rolling my eyes when people did, and I still think I'm right, but I also was like, that's a silly thing to
Right.
care about, so I care about it less now.
That's what my first reaction to when I had used. I said that I had gotten gypped,
Mhm.
and Rick was correcting me, and they're like, don't say gypped. It's from the word gypsy. It's like gypsy's one we don't use, and I was like, no, I'm gonna keep saying it, but only because that's my natural instinct is like, I'm not wrong. I'm a good guy. I'm one of the good guys, so I will get that right whatever I'm doing right now is absolutely right, without any thought of changing.
Yeah.
And then it slowly over time, it wears me down. I'm like, oh, you know what? I probably shouldn't be doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Which I hope would be. You have a lot of guys who have made entire careers right now out of being like, we're not doing that thing that you want us to do
I
to be
know.
more considerate to others. But I would hope that they're following the similar trajectory where like the first instinct is to dig your heels in, and then slowly you're like quietly change.
No, because
And maybe they are.
that's what's such a bummer about this case, because in this case I am right.
And you're
And
not going
I-
to change.
But like being right about this puts me in a category that I would share with a bunch of other horrible men who are wrong about their things. And I would like to create some distance between me and these wrong men who still want to say the R word. And rather, the easiest way for me to create that distance is if I just stop clinging so desperately to my rightness about homeless versus unhoused.
Yeah. About
Because
a
it's
thing
an
that
easy change for me to make, because all these changes are easy.
Yeah. Well, but they're not at first. At first, they seem like such an inconvenience. thoughts.
I know.
And then, yeah, slowly my mind changes. And by the way, there should be room for people to do that. Like, I don't want to get too into it on this podcast, but like somebody who, like James Gunn, once every 5 years gets called upon again because they're like in 2012 he had some like he said something that was not nice, and it was something I can't remember what it is now. If it was oh god damn, I don't even remember. I don't think it was racist, but I think it was sexist or something like that.
I don't remember
what
what it is exactly, but I do remember it being like shocking. And I'm saying this with a smile on my face, even though I'm sure it's caused some amount of harm to people. But it's like you when you hear things like a bunch of trolls and bad actors have resurfaced some of James Gunn's old tweets, you have like a couple of things in your head that you think it might be when it's like, oh, it's from 2008 or 2012, and you think like, how did people on the internet talk back then? Sure, I think I know what roughly it's going to be, and then you see what it is, and it's like, whoa! Oh no, it's worse. It's way worse.
Anyway, he is whatever it was. He has since like come out several times. Each time that it makes the rounds again, where he's like, I deeply regret this. Like I and not just because I got caught or whatever. Like I don't feel this way anymore. And the people who have tried to make amends for the things that they've done in the past, Bo Burnham too. Bo Burnham does the same thing where he's like, I was trying to be shocking, and I was young, and I didn't know any better. I didn't know that those words had power for a specific meaning. I just knew that those words had power, so I was using them. And so, you're playing with something. Playing with something over there. And so then they realized like they shouldn't be, and they changed. There should be some allowance for that, man.
Yeah.
It should be an allowance for change. In fact, it should be encouraged. Those people should be celebrated for like, hey, you changed your mind on your own. That's good. Good for you.
Yeah.
You weren't born into it.
Sure.
You were born into something way worse. My parents, for instance, they both come from families that are completely not politically aligned to who they then became. And I'm like pretty amazed by that. I am exactly like my parents. My parents, like, from the jump, I was like, oh, this is what we're doing? Okay, then this is what I also believe, which is so easy and like it's what your community is like defines that for you. And they were like, no, I've done some introspection. I don't think this is right. And I'm like, oh, I don't have that in me.
Yeah.
I'll just go whichever way the wind blows.
No, I was just like, I was raised and this was normal. And so everything else is not normal.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening to this podcast about James Gunn.
About James Gunn, about garages.
Oh, boy. When you say it like that, I think maybe we aren't contributing anything. Maybe we are. When I look back on what we talked about for the last 45 minutes, I'm like, I don't think we're offering anything to anybody. I think that what have we provided here?
Like aliens are going to find this. And aliens are going to be like, is this what people liked back then or on this planet? And I want to make it clear to the aliens, not really.
I don't think so. But we were allowed to do it. And that's why humanity was beautiful. All right. Well, if you liked our theme song, that's by Me Rex. If you like their music, you can get it anywhere you like. Spotify, iTunes. Does iTunes still exist? Apple Music, I think, is what it's called now. And you get full albums at merex.bandcamp.com. If you like this podcast, you can watch a video version of it on YouTube. If you also want more of this podcast, you can do it through our Patreon. Every other week, Daniel and I do another version of this podcast that's a little bit even more unprepared and untucked.
And it's better, though. It's better. And that's
better
why
in
we're
a
asking
way.
you to pay for it.
You should go get it. And
Yeah.
occasionally we reference it on this show, and you don't want to be confused.
Mm-mm.
When we talk about something there and bring it here. That's a hiccup. Thank you. Goodbye.
I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favorite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all the? Why do we not? Oh, forget it. friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.